We would like to thank the lovely players we've assembled to play this film for you all. As Lolita, we have the charming Sue. Stand up and say hello, Sue. Her sister in real life, the delightful Sally, plays Elizabeth Talbot, Lolita's first homosexual experience. Nice to keep it in the family, eh, girls? That's showbiz. Heather, Tinker, and Little Blonde Sally, very popular name these days, play the Flower Girl chorus, Mona, Barbara Burke, as well as other minor roles. Thanks, gals! Nurse Barbie brings her clinical precision to the role of Mary Lore. Also featuring Kayla, and Kayla, and the fish as the fish. As you may have guessed, there isn't room in the gaps for Humbert Humbert, and he does not appear in the flesh, you might say, in this film. Should the need arise for any male roles, Bob Dylan is standing by. Round of applause for that scruffy vision of sin. Woo! Now let's get down to the telling itself.
Alright, we will start the story. When we come to the end, we shall know more than we do now.
Once upon a time, there was a very wicked hobgoblin. He was one of the very worst, for he was a real demon. One day when he was in a merry mood, he made a looking glass which had the power of making everything good or beautiful that was reflected in it almost shrink to nothing.
One day, the hobgoblins tried to bring the mirror to heaven, but they dropped it, and it fell and broke into hundreds of millions of billions and some odd pieces. And they were spread by the winds all over the world.
Mirrors, like beauty, cast spells. Meanwhile, a little girl was growing up, and on her way she met an old woman who said, "I have long been wishing for a dear little maiden like you, and now you must stay with me and see how happily we shall live together."
And while she went on combing the little girl's hair, she thought less and less about all that she had left behind. For the old woman could conjure, although she was not a wicked witch. She conjured only a little for her own amusement, and now because she wanted to keep her. But in sleep we can journey unobserved.
And go skating on the mirror of reason.
In the midst of its empty, endless hall of snow was a frozen lake, and in the center of this lake sat the Snow Queen. She called the lake the Mirror of Reason, and said that it was the best, and indeed the only one in the world. See what he sees? See what they see? There's power here, if you hold still.
The fact is that the total form of the body by which the subject anticipates in a mirage the maturation of his power is given to him only as gestalt, that is to say, in an exteriority in which this form is certainly more constituent than constituted, but in which it appears to him above all in a contrasting size, that fixes it, and in a symmetry that inverts it, in contrast with the turbulent movements that the subject feels are animating him.
Who ever heard of a mirror like this?
There is a lake. Lake Climax. Lake, in German, is See. S-E-E. Which is she? The one on the bank? The one in the water? Choices. But all the choices in stories are hard ones. Sacrifices. Have feet, walk on knives, go to ball, run at midnight, sit still in mirror, or run, or run, or run, and be all alone. Dive deep into the water, into the reflection, break it. Because who are you when you're in your skin? No rose, no golden thing, no dead girl or Poe heroine. Without your skin, you defy metaphor. She goes deep beneath the water, into the queer mirror side, and skinless meets herself. or run and run and run and be all alone. When she re-emerges from the lake, she has to knock. The lake is locked in a thick sheet of emerald ice. But don't worry, Lo. The door will always open to you. The camera loves you, and the empty mirror was pining.